And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
May the 4th be with you, and welcome to the Filmbox Podcast, the greatest movie podcast in the world. I'm your host, Aaron Souza, joined today by the usual crew. Sam's back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. He's fresh from vacation, ready to go. And it's May the 4th. You know what time it is, everyone. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
That was enthusiastic.
You seem like I just got back from being extinct for over 400 years.
He is. He has been extinct for 400. Yes. He was stuck in some amber and he got out and caused all the dinosaurs.
Wrong franchise.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Filmbox Podcast.
Yes. Oh, man. If you didn't already know, it's May the 4th. When this is coming out, we are recording this many days in advance. But this is coming out on May the 4th. It's a Star Wars episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be reviewing the movie that's celebrating its 25th anniversary, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I need to put like a stinger in, like, woo!
You should have had a soundboard of like just the intro to Duel of the Fates. Just like the first 4 seconds.
You need to have the clip of Anakin saying yippee for any time something good. Yippee!
I'll just have like the first 2.5 seconds of the Star Wars theme. So it's like, da, da, da. It just cuts off. Because we don't do copyright around here.
No.
Unless you listen to our intro.
I haven't been caught yet.
That's all right. Yeah, so today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which is going to be a lot of fun. But before we do all that, boys, what have you been watching recently? And also, what are you drinking? I got to ask.
So I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, cut you off. It's been a quiet week for me. Only seen 4 movies, but I do have a fun story about one of them.
All right.
So saw Abigail in theaters. Finally, very good. Liked it a lot. Saw Doctor Strange Glove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Hold on, you said Doctor Strange Glove.
Yeah, that's what
I do that all the time. We just gotta keep moving on.
What's this weird glove I got in my hand?
Strange Love. Sorry.
There you go.
Moving on.
Sorry, it was very good.
I watched a little movie. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's called The Phantom Menace.
Really?
Yeah. Super indie, super low budget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you have to screw up the deep web to find it.
Is that an A24 film?
It was before A24, man. It's like...
Oh, wow.
Like
going way back.
Yeah, it's like archive. And I watched A Streetcar Named Desire today.
Nice.
So what I wanted to say was, when I saw Abigail, so I went with my girlfriend, Erin. We went.
Can I just say, before you continue the story, I love that because we share a name, every time you reference her, it's always, you have to specify that it's not me that you're going with.
Yes. I went with beautiful Erin to go see Abigail. And we went to...
Shucks.
We went to a theater that we hadn't been to before. You know, it was closer to her. Why not? We get there. There's like 2 other cars in the parking lot.
Ooh.
This theater is like it's like you turn off a main road. It's a mile down a parking lot to even get to this theater. It's
weird.
Respectfully, no duh. There's like 2 cars. No one's seeing it unless you know it's there. Anywho, me and Aaron walk to the front doors to get in. Locked. We were like, and there's 2 sets of doors. We tried them both, and we're like, huh.
locked.
And we could see like people inside working, just staring at us, and we were like, "Where we go? We got tickets." And eventually, one of them just opened the door, let us in. And then they didn't ask to like look at our tickets. They're just like, "What movie you guys here to see?" And we said Abigail, and they're like, "All right, just theater 3." So we could have just saved the money and just walked in.
Oh my god!
But then we saw the movie. It was fine. Or the experience was fine. It was us and literally that was the only other car in there, and they were watching it with us. So
nice.
So movie ends. They had like their lights were on a motion sensor. No one was there. So do you know how off-putting it is to walk out of like a horror movie into pitch black darkness in a movie theater?
What the fuck kind of theater did you go to?
It was a nice theater too. Like, I mean, the seats didn't recline or anything, but it was still like a nice screen, a lot of seating, a lot of space. But it was pitch black, and we were like, "Did they lock up with us in here?" And because we had to walk down a hallway. Eventually, we got to the end of the hallway, and the lights just turned on. And we were like, "Oh, thank God!" And we saw like there was one worker left, and we were just like, "Where were you? Why were the lights off?"
Oh my god.
So yeah, good movie, really weird experience.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, can you follow that up at all?
Well, not really. So I watched 5 movies, and since I was on vacation, I watched all of them on the plane to and from. So
as movies were meant to be watched.
Yep. So I started off on a little monster. I watched Godzilla 1954, the OG.
Nice.
Nice. I was surprised on how good that one is a good one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was a good one, even though it's like a foreign film. That was a good one. And then I followed up with a not so good one is Godzilla 1998 with the one with Matthew Broderick.
Nice.
Not so good. And then I just had to rewatch The Dark Knight.
Oh, that one? You mean the one that Connor has on DVD?
Yes.
This is VHS, brother.
Oh God, on VHS.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Woo.
The not so good one.
Jeez.
And then I had to go with watch a good. I had to follow up with a great one of the greats is The Dark Knight.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Cleanse the palate a little bit.
Yep. And then I also watched episode 1, Phantom Menace. Shocker. Rewatched it. And then I was just in the mood for something. So I watched Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Nice. Nice. All good picks. I watched. It's wild that Sam was on vacation and beat me in movie watching. I only watched 3 movies since. Well, all right. Since the last time we recorded.
Yeah.
To be fair, which was like a couple days ago. But I had to cleanse after the horrible Rebel Moon experience. So I watched 10 Things I Hate About You, which is just the greatest. And then I watched, I actually caught that same indie movie, Connor. That little movie, Phantom Menace. Yeah, you know what? It was around, and I was like, you know what? We'll give it a try. So I saw that. And then today I watched A Knight's Tale.
Nice.
Today being the 24th of April.
Listen, we got vacations going on. We gotta.
Yeah, I'm gone for all the rest of this week and next week.
Well, I expect you to put up some Sam numbers. I feel like low key a plane is a perfect place to watch a movie.
Yeah, I actually do have a couple choices for the plane that I wanted to ask you guys about. Did I say I watched it was A Knight's Tale that I watched today. Yes. Okay. So I'm thinking it's either going to be Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which is the documentary about sushi, which is apparently really, really good, and I've been wanting to see it. Or let's see, what else do I have downloaded on Prime? I think that was just the only one that I did on Prime. Yes. Or it's going to be Barbie. Or it's going to be Fantastic Mr. Fox.
How long is your
And
flight?
I'm leaning. It's 3 hours. So
2001: A Space Odyssey.
No. I'm thinking Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've never seen that one in Jiro. I have seen Barbie, obviously, but
I mean, that's 3 hours. I mean, I would recommend just downloading some more.
I'm thinking like I'm gonna watch probably 2 of those on the way down, and then on the way back I'll have other ones figured out.
Okay.
But
This is
Yeah,
how
I
many.
think-
This is how many movies I downloaded for my trip.
I see Harry Potter.
this is great audio content. Great audio content. Holy Jesus!
New game.
So-
Guess what's on Sam's phone right now?
I don't want to guess that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna say it.
All right, we got to move it along here now.
Wait. We never said what we were drinking, or at least I don't remember saying it.
I did not. Coke spiced, raspberry spiced. Coke Zero, raspberry spiced. That's what I get.
I just finished my iced tea, so now I'm drinking nothing. So
Oh,
Liquid IV.
nice. No Frannies. I
No
actually just
Frannies.
drank the last. We had the last of our Frannies stockpile yesterday. I didn't want to buy
My
any
Aaron
more.
and I restocked mine this weekend, so I am locked and loaded for at least a month.
Nice. Cool. All right, let's do our 30 pods of movies now that we've been talking for 11 minutes. This week, it's the movie by our favorite actor. I'll kick us off because I've got a couple interesting choices. If I can remember what they were, that'd be really cool. The first one that I've got is kind of a combination because I wanted to look at my Letterboxd and find what actor I had seen the most and try and go with that. And it kind of tied into a lot of things going on. So anyways, my favorite movie with this actor is probably going to be Star Wars Episode 3, The Phantom, or the Revenge of the Sith.
yikes.
Wow, I almost messed that up there. Because the most watched actor I have on my Letterboxd is Samuel L. Jackson with 24 films. And also when I was growing up, Ewan McGregor was by far my favorite actor. So, and it's a Star Wars episode, so it kind of melds all of those in. And then my other pick, if I can remember it, I had it. It was Hold for Effect. Oh, yes. Heath Ledger. I'm going to go with 10 Things I Hate About You.
Nice pick.
I've been on a Ledger kick lately.
Nice.
So, yeah, those are my picks.
You can go, Sam.
All right, sweet. Well, my pick might be a shocker because 2 of his movies is in my top 5 of all time. And he is arguably one of the greatest actors of all time, especially in his performance in There Will Be Blood. And it is Daniel Day-Lewis.
Nice.
So
I thought you were going to say Liam Neeson for episode 1 and Schindler's List.
no, I think Ray Fiennes did better than him in Schindler's List.
Ooh, that's a take. Don't know if it's true or not because I've not seen it.
He was he was great in that movie, but
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's a good pick.
All right. I got 3. There's no standout of the bunch, but going down the list, Ryan Gosling. I'm going to shout it out once again because it's one of my favorite movies, The Nice Guys. Him and Russell Crowe, perfect comedic duo.
I was actually going to watch that on the plane, but I can't download it anywhere.
I think they took it off Netflix.
Yep.
That sucks. Wait, hold on. Where is it at now? Because it's got to be someplace. Oh, it's on Apple TV. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't have that. I know.
That sucks. Next up, Jake Johnson. He's definitely
Interesting.
He's my favorite because of New Girl, but it's kind of cheating. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, he's great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you gotta get that in there.
Oh yeah, and then the newcomer of the bunch, Paul Mescal, my boy.
Ooh.
I was gonna say All of Us Strangers because that movie was so good. He was so good in it too. But how can I say anything other than After Sun? That movie is
Yep.
so fucking good.
Yeah. Speaking of shout outs, I do actually want to shout out Mike Faced, who's quickly becoming one of my favorite actors.
Your
and
guy.
I don't want to pick a movie because I'm going to be seeing Challengers this week. While I'm on vacation. So that might quickly become my favorite of his. But anyways, let's move on. Before we get into the review, I've just got a connections that I've not made, but it is Star Wars themed. So I'll just get that up for us all to play this. How do we usually do the connections? Do we usually read off all the options?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Just really
okay,
quickly.
so on this one we've got Endor, Return, Rancor, Revenge, Wookiee, Leia, Yoda, Yavin 4, Jawa, Boba, Empire, Ewok, Han, Naboo, Tatooine, and Attack.
All right, good luck, guys.
So the one that sticks out to me is Attack, Empire, Return, and Revenge are all the first words of.
yep.
So that's got to be first
And then
words.
Endor, Tatooine, Naboo, and Yavin 4 are all planets.
Naboo and Yavin 4 are settings of the Star Wars universe.
And I was thinking Wookiee, Ewok, Jawa, and Rancor because they're all like
Wookiee,
creatures.
Ewok, Jawa, Rancor.
But technically Yoda's a creature too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'll submit it. It was correct.
well.
Creatures from Star Wars. Wow, this took a lot faster than I thought it would. And then the last one being Star Wars character
that took
names.
exactly like 20 seconds.
All right. So, as you can tell, we're Sam and I are a bit of a Star Wars fans. We should have just made Connor do it. Is what we should have done.
We should have, yeah. Damn it.
Just be like,
See if
hey,
you can
you
find
do
another
it.
one on the fly.
I can't. I looked.
Oh.
Super Bowl Sunday, created by Hank Green. Okay. Let's get into the review anyways. We got plenty of time to.
Well, I mean, I got my reviews that I want.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. We're gonna go through all that. So, Star Wars Episode 1. Connor, kick us off with a quick synopsis and some cast and crew, and then we'll move into Sam's reviews.
All right. So I was trying to find a good one. I'm just taking this straight off Wikipedia, best resource
Nice.
off the internet.
Why aren't you on Wikipedia?
Wikipedia.
I apologize. Give me 2 seconds.
Got to get on Wikipedia, the greatest Wookiee there is.
I thought you were going to say the best Wikipedia there is.
Can I
Yeah.
while I vamp for a second until I can pull this up? This might piss you guys off. When I was trying to find this movie, I completely forgot the title. I literally was just like Star Wars 1, which it is.
One.
It quite literally
it
is.
is. But just hearing it reference this Star Wars 1.
Legit. I was like trying to find it. I was like, it's not clones, right?
Oh God, it's not clones. Famously not clones.
Famously.
You want to hear a stupid fact? Speaking of clones, Connor,
Go for it, because I can't find it
There-
on Wikipedia.
that's fine. Just use the wiki.
Yeah.
Use the lesser. Did you know that when it comes to the clones, there was not one actual clone trooper piece of armor built, made, acted in the whole movie, or in the whole like prequel trilogy.
It was all CGI.
Can you repeat that sentence? I have no idea what you were trying to say there.
Okay, every single clone trooper that was in the movies, Connor, every single like on the screen, every single one of them was CGI. There was no actual.
There were no
prop.
actors playing on set clone troopers in armor in any scene in 2 or 3.
Did they CGI Tamara Morrison's face, or is he just?
I feel like Tamara Morrison was probably on set for like the non-masked stuff, but every time that they did a masked scene, it was just it was just CGI, which is wild. Anyways, bring us through this summary.
All right. Set 32 years before the original trilogy, 13 years before the formation of the Galactic Empire, during the era of the Galactic Republic, the plot follows Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi as they try to protect Queen... Don't look at me like that.
You were trying hard not to mess stuff up.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. Let me finish this first.
Yes.
As they try to protect Queen Padme Amidala of Naboo in hopes of securing a peaceful end to an interplanetary trade dispute, joined by Anakin Skywalker, a young slave with unusually strong natural powers of the Force, they simultaneously contend with the mysterious return of the Sith.
Nice.
Yeah, what I was going to say is this franchise was meant to trip me up because I can't speak normal.
Yeah, and now you got all sorts of different names.
Yeah. So it's directed by one Mr. George Lucas, also written by George Lucas, starring Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, Ian McDermott. Is it McDermott?
McDermott, yep.
Thank you. Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, Pernilla August, and Frank Oz. We have cinematography by David Tattersall, with music by the legendary John Williams. Released May 16th, 1999, 8 days after yours truly was born.
Oh.
With a runtime of 133 minutes and a budget of $115 million. As we talked about with our $1 billion movie tier list, this little puppy brought in $1.027 billion.
That's nuts. Like, hitting $1 billion in 1999 is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, Sam, give us your reviews.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the whole new thing: 1-star Google reviews. I know before Aaron did his like 1-star Amazon reviews. So I'm gonna do 1-star Google reviews. All right, so this first one is a long one, but get ready for this one. This movie sucks. I mean, I don't see Darth Vader, or could you at least show me what Chewbacca is up to? I get this movie is about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and baby Anakin, and it is set like 30 years before Chewbacca and Darth Vader become main characters. But I mean, I just love Chewbacca. I also hope Lando is doing okay.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Jar Jar was way below par. I think it comes down to his aesthetic and his line delivery. I mean, even a pizza man...
So the whole character. The whole character.
I mean, even a pizza man can deliver lines better than this. And the kid who played...
Oh my god. That's a bar.
And the kid who played Qui-Gon did a pretty good job.
Wait. What the fuck? How high was this dude when he wrote this review?
I can answer. I was very high.
Let me finish.
I'm kidding.
I actually freaked when he said, "Now this is pod racing." I would have loved to see more of Mace Windu, though. What's the point of getting T.J. Miller to play a Star Wars character with a purple lightsaber if he isn't going to do much? I think that this movie... Well, go ahead.
No, that's grounds for defamation, I think. I think Samuel L. Jackson has the right to sue.
Yeah.
I think that this movie does not hit the spot. It literally tried to shove in an Optimus Prime clone called Darth Maul the last minute.
What in the world?
Like, come on, man, I'm walking here. Anyways, I would give this movie a 1 out of 5.
What?
Well, anyways, I would give this movie a 1 out of 5. They seriously could have just added more scenes of James Corden, and this movie would have been something truly amazing. But nope, instead it had to be another Night at the Museum ripoff.
You know, you had me in the beginning. Oh my god, what in the world? I love this, the intercut. I'm walking here, unrelated to anything else that was being said before or after.
Man, I don't know. That
do
was bar after bar right there.
It was. Do you have any more? That's a no.
I just had to do that one. That one was just way
That
too
was
good.
really good. That was really good. I actually have something funny from Letterboxd. I got two things. So in the most popular reviews for this movie on Letterboxd, there's a 2-star review that says Misa feeling generous. And then right below it is a 1-star review that says Misa wanna fucking die. And then my favorite one is a 2-star review that says, why is there a moist fart in a Star Wars movie? All right, let's get into the review. So, we're going to do this a little bit differently than we had been doing. I'm going to run down, kind of like how we used to do it, where I'm going to run down the major plot points of the movie. We're going to pause, we're going to talk about them, and then we're going to, at the end, go over our 5-tier ranking to come up with a good ranking for this movie. So, the movie starts. The Trade Federation has set up a blockade on Naboo. Obi-Wan and Anakin are sent... Obi-Wan and Anakin. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are sent as negotiators by the Republic to help settle the trade dispute on the Trade Federation ship, but things go awry, and Newt Gunray and the Trade Federation try to get them killed. They flee as the Trade Federation is landing on Naboo and meet Jar Jar Binks, who takes them to their secret city underwater. So, how do we feel about this first section?
I like the title crawl.
I think
I felt like I learned a lot more
Yeah.
than the rest of the movie.
I wish more movies would do just exposition dumps in a
Just-
title crawl.
Just take like the Wikipedia and just put it in like a little title crawl, and then be like, all right, if you still want to watch it, watch it.
Be like, hey, here's what you need to know. All right, now sit back and watch.
Now watch exactly what you just read.
Yeah.
so. I have a couple mixed feelings about the beginning. I think it was
Okay.
pretty bold to instantly throw Jedi into the first scene,
Yeah.
because in the original trilogy there was only 2, three,
Yeah.
technically 3, but like all of a sudden
They
just to
basically
throw-
like slapped their dick on the table and said, "Hey, they're here, guys.
yeah.
This is a whole new
But
era."
at the same time, I think it was great because this was like the height of, not the height of the Republic, but like this was a pretty important because Jedi were still bountiful. So
Yeah. No, I liked the beginning a lot because it just felt Star Wars.
it did, yeah.
Like, you come in, you're on a spaceship, you got these two mystical beings coming in, negotiating with aliens. They're like kicking it right off.
and you got droids and stuff like
You
that.
got droids, it was like pure Star Wars. What I will say, the Trade Federation, what is Newt Gunray's race, Sam? Do you remember?
Isn't he like Cato Nadomian?
Cato Nemoidian, maybe.
Whatever.
He
Newt
is
Gunray.
he is Nemoidian. Yep.
Nemoidian, yeah.
All of those so all of those suits or all of those costumes were totally practical, and this was in an era of filmmaking that like that peak era that I love where things were still really practical. And this was the last Star Wars that used a lot of like practical sets and costumes and all that stuff before they really went heavy into CGI. And those suits are so bad. The lip syncing for Newt Gunray and his pals are so bad.
Mm-hmm. Very much like a mouth
like,
open and words coming out type beat.
There's a scene later in the movie. I'm just gonna highlight it now. There's a scene later in the movie about this where one of them says nothing can get through our shields. But literally he turns towards the camera and his mouth just goes. It's just like flaps open a little bit, but he says like a whole sentence and I'm like, oh god. But
so this is not a new thing. We can all admit the writing is very bad, right?
It's not great.
It's bad.
It's not great.
I have it later in the note once like we see more characters. I don't know if there's necessarily a good performance, but I don't think anyone's like a bad actor of the bunch, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I immediately dock Ewan McGregor for that rat tail he had.
It's the Padawan braid.
I wanted to when I saw it. But a more serious note, I honestly I didn't like the droids. There's like no tension in any of the fight scenes because like they're not gonna get killed or even like hurt. Yeah. But B, it's like when you watch the action, it's like I can see like them go like 50%. Like they don't really care. They're like doing half spins and whoop-de-doos and whatnot. Yeah.
I mean, I think too that is intentional because like it's meant to show how powerful the Jedi really are. That like these things that will kill people are just like fodder for Jedi. They're just like whatever. Like we're done. We're done here. But I do agree. It is kind of. I mean, it's always been explained that like droid. They didn't make droids to be like a super hard like thing to kill.
Well, yeah.
Rather, they just made so many of them that it was like overpower via numbers, not by skill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just something that stood out right off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say that I liked the acting in the beginning, in this beginning section here. For the most part, I didn't really. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are pretty believable as Jedi, and no one else is. I mean, there's really no one else other than your boy Jar Jar.
That's my other point. I don't think he's that bad.
Oh,
I don't think he's that bad.
I agree to some point.
Interesting.
He's like one of the only people in this entire movie who shows like a shred of emotion.
Interesting.
I think the thing is, it's just like I have in my notes like Ewan is like no one matches Jar Jar's energy. Like Qui-Gon's way too stoic, and Ewan honestly is just way too stiff. Which I get, like maybe that because I was reading that he studied McGinnis's portrayal in like the first. Moving on.
McGinnis. You made him more Irish. I didn't know you could make Guinness more Irish. Then you added Mick in front of it.
I didn't have it up, and I didn't.
You took a gamble. I took a gamble, and you lost.
I overshot it. I'd rather overshoot it than undershoot it.
Yeah, it could have been where you could have said like Guinea or something.
I could have just said the wrong name. Like at least I was close. I could have called him like Jeffrey.
What was in the review? What was Samuel L. Jackson? Who did they say he was?
TJ Miller.
DJ Miller.
I
You
could
could have
say
said
that.
DJ Miller.
I could be like, oh yeah, Sir Ian McKellen was in his performance.
Oh man.
No, he was trying to copy like Alec Guinness's performance, just so it would be like a seamless. So maybe that explains it. But yeah, back to Jar Jar. I thought that was fine.
Yeah, the CGI is pretty bad though.
CGI is bad.
I did not realize how badly that CGI aged. And when he came on screen, I was like, ew, it was gross.
It is funny because I have in my notes, because this is more of a stream of consciousness than a organized shred of notes. So literally like my third thing is like visually this holds up well when it was like the space, the practical effects. And then once Jar Jar came on, and then especially later on in the movie, I was like, this does not hold up.
Yeah, no. The practical stuff I love.
I will
love
always
that
like
they shot
practical.
on locations. They had like fully built out set. Yeah, we'll get to that. Sam, you got anything else to add here?
Not really. Just I think I will go more into this with when we talk about acting and stuff like that. But at acting writing, I'm like they did the best they could with what they were given.
Yeah,
The script.
That was
Connor
the point
kind
I
of
was.
alluded to.
That was the point I was
writing
trying to make.
Yeah,
the writing was pretty
we
rough.
can talk about it more later, but when we actually go over the stuff. But that's really all I have right here. But I really enjoyed the like you said, Aaron. It feels like a Star Wars movie when you're on a ship and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
and it actually has good humor in it, rather than The Force Awakens. So,
Oh God.
the negotiations were short.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, next scene. Jar Jar leads the group to the Gungans' underwater city named Otto Gunga. Did you know that, Connor? It's called Otto Gunga.
No.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan failed to persuade the Gungan leader Boss Nass to aid the planet's surface during the invasion, but they managed to obtain an underwater transport to get to the capital city of Theed, and also secure Jar Jar's guidance because he is not welcome in the underwater city. The group make it to the city, free Queen Padme Amidala and her crew of protectors from droid custody, and race off in their starship to make it back to Coruscant. But in their escape, the ship is damaged, and they have to land on nearby Tatooine for repairs. All right.
There are so many memes within this next section.
Yes.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish. I gotta say, I think, Connor, you kind of were alluding to something that I see. I don't like Jar Jar in this movie at all. But I like the Gungans a lot, even though they talk stupid and they're kind of goofy. The problem that I have with Jar Jar that I don't have with the rest of them is that there is not a scene where Jar Jar is serious.
Yeah.
Like every scene that he's in, he's fumbling around, bumbling around,
Stepping in
messing
shit.
something up, stepping in shit, just being like goofy for no reason. But like Boss Nass, I love that character.
Yeah, Boss Nass was good.
Because he's like, you can tell that even though he's, the Gungans are a little weird and they have their quirks, this is a man who's like a man. This is a Gungan who's a real leader. This is a man.
But he does get fooled by the Jedi mind trick.
Oh, well, yeah. He's not smart.
Yeah.
He's not strong-minded.
He did like the motorboat, the I don't have loose enough cheeks to do that. I'm sorry.
I forget
got
if
you.
it was either me or my brother. We used to actually get scared of that part when he used to do that. When we were like super young.
Oh my god, that's awesome. But yeah, I like him. I also think Liam Neeson.
Stop.
No, that's worse than anything I said.
That's
So much worse than anything I said.
You did not just say that.
I think I've been redeemed. That was egregious.
All right, we'll see you later on this episode.
Yeah, like Liam Neeson and Ewan Mitsubishi.
Oh my god. Liam Neeson. Oh man. Whew.
All right,
Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is a great Jedi. He is like the perfect Jedi in my mind.
Well, I think, I can't remember if it was in a book or not, or if I was just watching videos, but Qui-Gon was the definition of a great Jedi, the balance between light and dark, and why he was the first one that could become Force Ghost and transfer his spirit. So
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he perfectly exemplifies what a Jedi should be. He's calm, collected, very, very much like looking to make peace before anything else. Which really is what the Jedi were all about. And I thought Liam Neeson portrayed that really well.
Oh yeah,
too.
Yeah, I have it further in my notes. I think it's in the next section, so I could hold off. But basically, Liam Neeson. As soon as I said I don't think there's a single good performance here, I was like, never mind, we have one. I like Liam Neeson.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the underwater, the monster, the fish, the big fish? It's always a bigger fish.
I mean, I think I don't mind it. Every time I watch it, obviously it's predictable because I've seen this movie so many times. But I don't know. I don't mind it.
I would have preferred a little more urgency. They're being like almost eaten by one big fish, and Jar Jar's like freaking out, and Qui-Gon's just like, relax.
It'll be fine.
Relax.
We might get eaten.
And even Ewan's just like,
Power's back.
Oh,
can you imagine though? Can you imagine like being with a Jedi who's supposed to be this like great protector, and he sees that and he freaks the fuck out?
Oh shit!
Fuck! Holy shit! He's just freaking out. Like that would be unnerving to me. I'd be like, okay.
Even when like they turn the power back on, the lights turn on, they see like the giant one is like right in front of them. I was looking and like Ewan's just like, oh, just gonna scooch on by you right there.
Yep.
But yeah, you know me. I love sharks. I love things in the ocean. So, thumbs up.
There you go.
Well, and we'll go over this more in the visual section, but I absolutely love the city of Otagunga. I think it's
looks so good.
Cool concept.
Yeah,
an hidden underwater city that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was cool.
It just looked so cool, and swimming up to it, and
that's one thing about Star Wars that they always hit is like just the designs of things, coming up with creatures, coming up with cities, you know, locations. They've always hit. Yeah. So I noted it already, but I love how it's all either practical on location, or there's like a full set. Like, I think it exemplifies it the most in this underwater scene anyways. Because, like, you can tell that they built a ship for them to sit in to be able to act in. And it's not just like they're sitting on a green screen set that they're going to loop it. Like, that, I appreciate that so much. Even though you have to use some green screen and, you know, to be able to put them underwater, the fact that they actually made like an actual cockpit for this ship is awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then moving on to
and
Theed.
then when they get to when they get to Theed, I like the thing that I appreciate the most about this section of the movie, like this beginning section, is that it's moving quick. It's going, there's action, but it keeps moving, and it's not like we're not sitting. Like, they get to Theed and they're already rescuing the
I
queen.
agree. Yeah, they're not like
They rescue her, and then there's no like, oh, what do we do? Like, let's figure out what to do. They're like, all right, let's get to the ship. We're gone. We're going.
Yeah,
and they're there.
The first 23 minutes of this movie flew by.
Yeah.
And it honestly tricked me because I was like, I feel like I just watched so much happen. And then like I looked and I was like, that was 20 minutes. This is a 2-hour movie. Where can we go? And like I've seen the movie before. I know exactly where it goes. Nowhere. So I was just like, damn. That's
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they really keep it moving that first like third of the movie.
yeah. I also want to point out here, to this day, I still get tricked by Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman.
I was gonna bring that up too. So
Oh.
you can go.
No, I was just gonna say I was always like, no, Keira Knightley is. I didn't realize that Padme's last name was Amidala, so I was like, okay, that's Padme and that's Amidala, 2 separate people.
Yes.
So I was like, where does Amidala go after this? And then then I caught on.
Well, you want to know something interesting about that? I don't know, Sam, if you were going to bring this up, but so Keira Knightley obviously looks super alike to Natalie Portman, but anything that Keira Knightley said in the movie was dubbed over by Natalie Portman.
Really?
Yeah, so it was the same voice.
You know,
That's part of the reason why it's so confusing.
Yeah,
Like,
I was going to say,
the
'cause-
Queen.
No, you keep going. Keep going.
No, the Queen sounds like what Natalie Portman would be saying, because it is. It's all
But-
dubbed by her.
But the thing is, too, it sounds like Keira Knightley because Keira Knightley has an accent. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like, this is Keira Knightley. And
Yep.
then when Natalie Portman was talking, I was like, oh, she's just doing an accent. It took me way too long.
Kind of wild. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight on how good Natalie Portman was for that too, because whenever she was in her Queen voice, she always had that like lower, like monotone voice, and then she changed to her other voice when she was just the handmaiden. And also, like, I don't know what it was back in 1999 or whatever, but like obviously I know that now, like they were different, but like when the movie came out, did they actually get tricked as well at the twist later in the movie, or was it already revealed that?
Oh, it was probably I mean, to that point, no one knew who Padme Amidala was when this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a legitimate twist.
Yeah, so like I wasn't sure like how like in in theaters like they were like, oh
Yeah. I'm assuming that was like a legitimate twist. It would be wild if they just revealed that in like a trailer, but I wouldn't put it past anyone to do that.
Yeah, at me, so what to do?
Let's continue on to
And-
the.
And I do like also real quick that they gave the droids a little bit of character with the you're under arrest part.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
It's like, well, I'm taking these to Coruscant. Where are you taking them? To Coruscant.
Coruscant.
That doesn't compute. You're under arrest. And he just beheads it.
Yeah.
But all right, moving on. The ship is fixed by R2-D2 making his appearance in this movie. But they have to land, the group has to land on Tatooine because their hyperdrive is broken. So they land on Tatooine, and Qui-Gon, Jar Jar, R2-D2, and Padme, disguised as one of the handmaidens, set out to Mos Espa to purchase a new part for their hyperdrive. They encounter a junk dealer named Watto and his 9-year-old slave Anakin Skywalker, who invites them to his house, which is very strange, to avoid a sandstorm where they meet Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother, and C-3PO, the protocol droid that they have built. Qui-Gon senses the Force within Anakin and enters him in
What?
or like mutually agree to enter them. enters. They,
Hold on. Hold on.
He does what to him?
Liam Neeson enters Anakin. no. Anakin gets entered into the pod race. The pod race. Anakin enters himself into and wins and gets the winnings for Qui-Gon to be able to buy the parts for the hyperdrive. At the same time, Qui-Gon wins Anakin's freedom in a wager with Watto, and they all leave when they are attacked by Darth Maul. Oh boy. So Anakin gets entered.
Enter Anakin being entered. Again, I know a lot of people bullied the hell out of Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
It's a kid actor. Like,
Yeah, he did fine.
he was fine.
And
Yeah.
I bring up that point where like he did the best he could. Like I was listening to his lines. He had shitty lines.
Yeah,
Like they
pretty
wrote
bad.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, and then also it's a kid. Like, obviously he doesn't. There's like nuances to like. Well, there's like nuances to conversation, but especially in acting, when it's like, okay, you get to like this point in your sentence before Liam's gonna cut you off, and you can tell that sometimes there's like he stops himself short.
Yeah.
But still, it was fine. When he said yippee, that was literally like the first time I smiled the entire movie.
Yippee!
Yeah, I rewound it too. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
It,
Are you an angel?
yeah,
That's actually a good scene too.
game. Yeah.
Like that whole I will say that you know he portrays the innocence well of just a child who is a slave who
naivete.
knows nothing. Right, he knows nothing else other than the life he has.
And this is where
yeah.
like I felt like, okay, this is like Qui-Gon taking a step, or like for me, this is where it's like, okay, here's a good character like moment when he's just talking to Anakin. Honestly, just all of their scenes together, I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
It's more personable than just like super stoic one-liners to Obi-Wan or to Jar Jar, to anyone.
yep. Which goes along to my thing about Qui-Gon being the best Jedi and Liam Neeson. I did it again.
I thought you were doing that quite a bit.
Nope, didn't do that on purpose. Liam Neeson being a great actor to play a Jedi, and like he just has this aura of like, I am dealing with, you know, a child, and there's this sort of caring that has to be done that's like that I wouldn't show towards my Padawan or towards another adult or towards, you know, royalty. It's like he understands it, and I love that. That said, this is the section of the movie where I was like, oh boy, we are dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was slow.
they spent so much time in Tatooine.
Yeah. And I hated how, like, in this moment, Obi-Wan just took a complete backseat.
Yeah. They were just
Like, he
cuts
was
in for like 10
barely in
seconds. Just like,
He'd be
hey,
like-
can you look at this real quick? Wow. Fake.
It's off the charts. The midi
Screen
chlorians,
wipe.
they're off the charts. Yeah.
Love the music just in this entire
Yep.
movie too. But I
Oh
think
my god.
especially once Darth Maul is introduced, that's where I was like, yeah, this is a
Yeah.
legend right here.
Yeah, and obviously we'll get to the pod race in a moment, but like the music for the pod race is phenomenal. I mean,
yeah.
to your point, the whole movie's music is great, but like super underrated is the music around the pod race. It's good.
The whole pod race in general is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called that the espresso the movie needed. because it was
Yeah,
it was dragging hard.
it stopped to a crawl. Like literally, the movie stops to a crawl, and I think they even acknowledged this when they were making it. Like George Lucas literally said, "We need our ending fight now in the middle of the movie," kind of thing. Like we need that energy now, and so they put in the pod race right in the middle of the movie. And it does get you pumped. I mean, it's action packed. It's great. I love Sebulba as a villain, as like a minor villain. Cocky, cheater, also very good at pod racing, but just like dangerous. He's just a good character.
It exemplifies like the hive of slum and villainy, of Tatooine.
Yeah,
like
it does, and
Mr.
the
McGinnis
expanse
stuff.
of the universe too. Like Sebulba's not a Sith. He's just a dude. He's just a gangster that pod races. But like he has this whole lore about him, and he's got this legend around him on Tatooine that like we don't even know about, but you can tell.
I like the cameo.
I love that.
I like the cameo of Jabba too. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that, and I'm sure. Yeah.
That's definitely a moment like the Leo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood moment of like, oh, there he is. There's Jabba. There he is. There's someone I know.
Yep. or Sing too.
Or a Sing. Yeah, that was cool.
No idea who that is.
One of the bounty hunter ladies.
You see her for like 3 seconds during the pod race.
Yep.
The bald one.
But the pod racing itself is freaking awesome. I love how it also shows how force sensitive Anakin really is. Like discreetly. It's like, hey, like this kid's special.
Yeah,
And I love that.
I think it was a choice. I don't know if it was good or bad, but they show the entire race. It's not like we're gonna cut from like the start of the race. Like we might cut out some of the middle. Like cut says, what's Obi-Wan doing? No, you see the entire race. It doesn't help the runtime, but like it's something good on the screen, something like exciting. So I'll give it that.
And to your point, Aaron, how it didn't really show him being force sensitive. Like they could have easily had him do something like super force sensitive and be all over, be like, oh well, he's a Jedi or whatever like that.
He jumps out of the thing and lands perfectly.
Yeah, so
On Sebulba's pod. Whoa!
He does a little and rocks
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah, they definitely. It was reserved enough. Like he didn't be like, "You're not going to win." Just mind
Crash.
trick him. You will crash your pod.
Kill yourself.
Although I will say my favorite part of the pod race is towards the end when they're speeding all through the stuff, like all through those mountains and stuff like that, and the one part of Anakin's pod that Sebulba like sabotaged, it comes off and like the engine shuts down and all the fire starts, and then all of a sudden we move from him like weaving in and out of rocks to he's driving still, not looking in front of him, going like messing around with everything. I'm like, this dude crashes in half a second, if that's real. Like he's done as soon as that happens. 'Cause, like the second you look away from your stuff, you're crashing into a rock.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yep.
Overall, the pod race was great.
Pod race is good.
Yeah, I definitely like the line with Anakin and Qui-Gon where Anakin's like, "Oh, no one can kill a Jedi," and Qui-Gon's like, "I wish that were true." Nice little moment.
I like that line too.
Foreshadowing. Like
In a
George
good
Lucas
way.
really said, foreshadowing.
It's like, this script is trash. But I got something for you. I can groove you a fastball.
All right. Next scene. After a brief duel, Qui-Gon escapes from Darth Maul and escapes on their starship to Coruscant. Once arriving on Coruscant, they are met by Senator Palpatine and Chancellor Valorum, the current Chancellor of the Republic. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan take Anakin to the Jedi Council to seek out the ability to train him as a Jedi, while Padme addresses the Senate about the crisis on Naboo. When bureaucrats get in the way, Padme brings up a vote of no confidence in the Chancellor, setting the stage for a new election where Palpatine is elected in the fastest election I've ever seen.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yeah. And frustrated with not only the Jedi Council refusing to allow Anakin to be trained, and also the Senate, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Jar Jar, and Padme all return to Tatooine.
Naboo, you mean?
So, what's that?
Naboo.
Oh yeah, they all return to Naboo, not to Tatooine. My bad. This part of the movie gets a lot of hate because they're like, "Why are we talking about politics in my Star Wars?" But I like it. I like this
it's super
section
important of how Palpatine rose to power.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
I
the
have it
second
right here in my
and
notes.
third
Like,
one.
you can see him pulling the strings, just lightly pulling the strings right from the beginning.
Yeah. My only critique is, at times, like, the tone is just so wide. Like, you'll have like dookie jokes, like where they just say like doo-doo instead of like crap or shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you're trying to make a kid laugh. I get that. And then you're just like, okay, here's 5 minutes of like them just talking about taxes.
Yeah.
All right, the kid that you just were trying to appease is checked out.
Now they're like,
We got that.
Where's my poop joke?
So that was my thing. Like, I think if a more consistent tone helps, and with a bit more maybe comedy sprinkled in, because I think, as an adult watching it, I think it's interesting watching like Palpatine start like laying the seeds and slowly, pulling strings to get what he wants, even though like we know that he is evil. He's a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Like, it's still nice to see it's like just that slow creep to it instead of full blown.
Yeah.
Saw me now.
Yeah, now that you say that, like, now I'm looking back and look, when I was a kid, like when I used to watch this movie, I could care less about the politics. Yeah. But now watching it, I'm like, oh, I'm connecting the dots and being like, okay, that's so.
Yeah, I think it was just like, because I put in my notes, like, I don't know who this is really for, but then I was like, I think it's just for like, all right, someone who grew up watching like the original trilogy, and then it's like now they have a kid, so like, hey, let's watch this. It's got poop jokes for you, but it's continuing my story, or fleshing out my story. So I'll buy you a whatever toy. I'll buy you a droid. I'll buy you a lightsaber, but we're watching. Yeah, we're watching this.
Yeah, and to your point too, I do like also being able to see the this is like the first time we see the Jedi Council. Like now we take it for granted, but like before this, there is no, we don't know what that height looks like of the Jedi Order, and it's cool. But you can also see that there is definitely weaknesses within the Order. Like, they are not put together. Qui-Gon they're hypocritical. Qui-Gon's super well respected, but he does not agree with their beliefs at all. Yeah. And I love that they didn't just be like, well, all right. They didn't have like a character be like, well, guess you can't be trained. Oh, well, Yeah. But also at the same time, they kind of did just write it so that like he couldn't be trained at the same time. Yeah. But
how do you feel about them changing Yoda from a puppet to CGI? Did you like him as a puppet?
Yep. I much prefer practical whenever possible. It stood out like a sore thumb to me.
So for those who don't know, the original version, Yoda was actually a puppet in the first movie. And then when did they change it?
Whenever they did their updates to it, post episode 2.
Yeah.
When they made him full CGI. I mean, it looked weird. It didn't look like Yoda of episode 2.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for this section? This section was kind of like, I don't want to say it was slow, but it was a little bit like not much happened. It was another section of like not much happens.
Yeah.
This is another one where I have in my notes this is dragging.
Yeah, it definitely was. All right. So the group lands back on Naboo, and they look for the Gungans who have left Otto Gunga, their city. Everyone believes that they've been wiped out, but Jar Jar leads the group to the holy place where all the Gungans are gathered. And in a reveal, Padme reveals herself as the queen and begs the Gungans for help. They agree, and they plan and launch a large-scale assault with the Gungan army and whatever forces that that the people of Naboo can muster against the Trade Federation, including a full-scale battle between the Gungans and the droids, an invasion of the capital city building, fight in space, and a lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul. At the end of the battle, I'll just do the ending part here. At the end of the battle, Qui-Gon is killed, but Obi-Wan defeats Darth Maul. Anakin blows up the Trade Federation ship. The Gungans, by default, beat the droids. And Newt Gunray surrenders to Padme, and all is well on Naboo again.
The end.
The end. So this was the best section of the movie.
I agree.
Except for the Gungan fight with the droids.
Yes,
is
thank you.
Fucking out there, man.
It's so ugly.
It looks bad.
See, I counter that. I actually really enjoy that one. The scenery and stuff like that, and how big scale it is. The only thing I don't agree, didn't like was how the Gungans had zero technology besides the shield generators.
Yes. Yeah. It's like we fight with these shock balls and also a massive generator to create a shield.
No guns,
impenetrable shield.
Yeah.
No guns.
No weapon, no guns. Yeah. We have advanced shields. We have personal shields. We got big shields. Got all the shields you
we
want.
got big shields, small shields, personal shields, whatever you want. We got
shields for you, shields for me, red shields, blue shields, shields for all three.
Yeah, it was definitely noticeable. I'm gonna jump around a bit. So obviously the fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul looks better.
Iconic.
And it feels so much more alive than whenever they're going up against the droids, and especially when it was droids versus the Gungans. That I honestly just checked out. I was like, I don't care about a single thing here. It looks bad. This is like PS2 quality. I'm kind of just out.
This is where I figured out too why I hated Jar Jar so much in this movie. Is no serious scenes. There's nothing serious about this battle. He's just bumbling around, whatever. Give him one good scene.
Yes, he does have one good scene when he's on the freaking thing and he's like, steady.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. That is his one scene where he's like, all right, everyone, calm down. I'm gonna freak out in about 3 minutes, but calm down now.
Steady. That's the only serious line he has.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I have something controversial to say.
Oh gosh.
I did not like Natalie Portman in this movie at all.
Really?
I thought her performance was really bad.
Really?
She's a great actress, extremely talented. She fell completely flat for me.
But that
in this one,
how much can you blame on her? Everyone's
it was
Ewan
all
McGregor.
It was
so
delivery.
Flat.
No, but the thing that did it for me was when she was she revealed herself to the Gungans, and she was like,
I'm Queen Amidala.
I'm Queen Amidala. I ask you to help us. No, I beg you to help us. And I'm like, come on. Yeah. I mean, you can say that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, and it made me realize, like, the whole movie, it was that sort of, like, I just didn't like it. It's a great actress, though. Phenomenal in the other two films. Really, really good in 2 and 3, but definitely tough here.
I thought it was kind of funny that when Maul shows up again, not a single person looks intimidated. No one's just like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, we got to get out of here. They're just like, we'll take him. You guys go.
Can you imagine one guy in the back of that group's like, oh, shit.
I don't even know who that is.
They're just like,
he looks
just like,
scary.
we'll handle this. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he
like-
does, too.
But yeah, it's just like,
I'd
we'll handle
pee my
this.
pants. I'd pee my pants if I saw him. I'm not going to lie.
It's not on the scale of like Vader showing up in that hallway, but it's
No,
you know,
but if I saw a dude,
horns on his head,
if I saw a dude, yeah, horns on his head,
red eyes,
just blasting, dun dun.
Pulls out a
From out of nowhere.
It pulls out a double bladed.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be like, the Jar Jar, I surrender.
Yeah.
I give
Might
up.
give up. Might
I
give
give
up.
up. I give up.
I do.
I love that. Just because you mentioned that too, I love that part of the movie where Captain Tarpals, yes, that's the character's name, is like, Jar Jar, we got to think of, don't give up. We got to
have a
think of
plan.
something. We got to think of something. And as soon as the droid goes hands up, he goes, I'm gone, done. I give up.
And then Captain Tarpals is there, just like,
It's like, oh my god, dude.
I do wish the space battle. I wish we got a little bit more of the space battle.
Yeah.
But it's just my opinion. I really like space battles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Anakin is so funny too, because like he takes the whole Qui-Gon instruction of like stay where you are to the extreme.
And I honestly, I like it. I like it. It doesn't.
No, that was good.
It doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
It was kind of funny. It was just it's one of those good humor moments, but he's like at one point he literally says, Qui-Gon's told me to stay in this cockpit, and that's what I'm gonna do as he's mid fighting. Like, this is not what Qui-Gon had imagined.
Yeah. Now this is pod racing.
Now this is pod race. Oh my god. Oh man. That final fight though with Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon is just, it's so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like to this day, like I'm like, just if Obi-Wan just ran a little bit faster, he would have
I
gone
know.
through that last one.
I know.
And yeah.
But what a way to build tension though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I loved
worked.
it.
Like-
it worked.
I love that the moments of like the doors closed, they're all separated. And I just
Yeah.
love like Maul is just like sizing up Qui-Gon as Qui-Gon's like praying, channeling the Force. I just love the juxtaposition of the two.
Yeah, like you could see him like Darth Maul's like get all his hate and anger is he's
Exactly.
focusing all that, and Qui-Gon just calm, meditating
Centering
mid-fight. You know? And you can see Obi-Wan in the back, like inexperienced, ready to go, like he wants to
He's
go.
antsy, yeah.
You know, he's antsy. Yeah, I love that. George Lucas is a great visual storyteller.
Absolutely.
Can't write dialogue for shit,
Yeah.
but man,
If
can
only-
he
if-
like tell a
if he had
story
gotten
with his
a
eyes.
writer for this, I think I would like this movie so much more.
Yeah.
I love too. When like Qui-Gon gets stabbed, I love that they cut the music until after he's stabbed.
Yeah.
Because at first I
Yeah.
was like, oh, normally you get like a little like a tension building.
And then done. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you get the impact, and then you're like, oh shit. So, but I like that you let the scene kind of breathe a bit until the most important thing happens, and then you score
Yeah.
it perfectly.
Yeah, that's a very good point that I didn't think too, because the whole rest of the fight has Duel of the Fates over it, which is one of the best musical scores of all time.
It's just one of the
And
best
then
songs ever. I
It's
think.
it's literally one of the best songs ever, and and then like this high tension moment, you take that amazing song and it's gone. It's cut. That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but you make a great point there.
I also love that
and then
Obi-Wan hit him with a pump fake.
you sure did.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, all right, I see you.
Yeah, and we can talk about this later too in visuals, but I just love the choreography of the battle of the fight too, especially when it was just Obi-Wan and Darth Maul after Qui-Gon dies. He's just sitting there, just like bouncing on his, like just getting ready to go, and then just the entire fight, like how the one is when he goes like behind his back to block it, and like
There's so much more emotion.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about these, like especially this fight, but really all of the prequel fights, or at least this one and the one in Episode 3, that differentiates it from like other sword fights in other movies, or like something like Rebel Moon, which just came out that I fucking hated, is that the fights, every swing is intentional, and that's something that a lot of choreography gets wrong. Like every swing, even though it's really, really fast, that character is trying to hit the other character. They're not just like, okay, well now I go up here and now I block up here, and no one's actually swinging at me.
Are you referring to the sequels?
Where you just what's the one where they're just like swinging around at each other? Is that 3? Or is that 2?
I think you're talking about the fight between
The Obi-Annie fight.
Obi-Annie fight with Count Dooku.
I was gonna, I think it was against
that one's
Dooku.
a little, they were like, they would just show one person just going like that.
Yeah.
No, this fight is incredibly intentional, and especially Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul solo. Like every swing that Obi-Wan has, he is trying to kill Darth Maul, and the same thing on the other side. And it's all happening so fast. It's so good.
That's why I was like, droids don't care. This, like, even though I know, like, I've seen this, I know that Obi-Wan's gonna win, it still felt tense.
Oh yeah,
it's just awesome to watch again. It's just so rewatchable.
The doors, I do like them. That it kept him isolated, so all I could do was watch. I know I said that already. I'm sorry.
No. It's just the doors. I really like them. It's like
the laser beam
is a fan
doors.
of doors now.
They were cool.
Best part of the movie is doors.
They served a purpose. No, the best part of the movie was the ascension guns that Princess Amidala shot off with her crew that were just rising at like.
Yep, they're just like. You could have put elevator music over that moment.
Yeah, it was like one droid just has to be like
Jeopardy theme song.
Oh yeah. But obviously, happy ending. Maul is killed. They have a funeral for Qui-Gon, which is very sad. But Anakin gets to train as a Jedi under Obi-Wan, and sets off the whole rest of the movies.
I hope nothing bad happens to him.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's talk about our categories here. So run it down. Acting is our first category. What do we think on the acting?
So like we've said before, I think the acting is great for what they got as for scripts and for dialogue and for writing. So that's pretty much all my opinion is on that one. I really enjoyed all of them, and I think Liam Neeson was
Liam Neeson.
I think he was the star of the show, to be honest.
Yeah,
easily.
This was his movie.
Yeah, and even as a supporter, I think Ray Park and Darth Maul was great too.
Yeah. Again, I didn't think anyone really outside of Qui-Gon for most of the movie really stood out in a good way, but it was also very easy to be like, there's no shot you can deliver this line in a way that is good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're doing scores right now, but
Yeah, we'll do scores for each. Yep.
yeah, I gave it a 2. Just because even with bad lines, like you're kind of saying with Natalie Portman, sometimes their delivery is also just
It's
not
it's
great.
rough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, same thing. I'm going 2.5 because I felt like it was very average. There was some really bad stuff. There was some really, really really good stuff. How much of that, like you said, is related to the actual dialogue, the writing? Well, who knows? But it was very middle of the road, very average for me.
I'm actually going up a little bit. I'm going to 3.5. I actually really enjoyed the acting, and I understand that, like, obviously the writing is terrible. But I think Shmi was a great actress. She did great too. I just think a lot of the supporting roles were great. So
Fair enough. I like that. All right, story concept. I this might be controversial. I love the concept. I love the story. It was a little slow, but that's more of a writing issue than it is a story issue at times. But the idea of like setting everything off by like this massive trade dispute, like I'm for it. I'm all for it. So I loved it.
Yeah.
I would give it probably closer to like a 4, I think, on the story.
I agree, like, with all the trade dispute and stuff like that. But I also want to bring up the Anakin's origin, how they introduced him to the universe. I think that was very well done too. And I think it was a little bit dragged on, like, during Tatooine and stuff like that. But I think we had to kind of see that the relationship between him and his mom, and it's one of the reasons why he ended up turning to the dark side and stuff like that. Spoilers.
What?
So I gave it a 3.5.
I'm obviously the lowest of us. I gave it a 2.5. Mostly because I tried to view it as this movie alone. Obviously there's so much lore, so much story that transcend just this one movie that it had to set up. But I thought it was slow. I thought there was a lot of inconsistencies with, like, the tone. I do like how characters were set up, but as this movie alone, I just wasn't as engaged as I would hope.
Yep, that's fair. All right, visuals. For me...
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, this is the one I'm highest on, because while the CGI didn't look the best, I thought, like you've been hammering the entire pod, like, the practical stuff looked very good. The location's great. I like the choreography only between any real actor fighting each other. Everything else, just I was not a fan of at all.
Can I just mention too? I love that you mentioned that, because there are parts in the Gungan fight scene with the droids where, like, you can see in the background that it's just a Gungan and a droid going,
Yeah.
just like grappling each other, and it's bad. It's real bad, but it's background stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously, like, the pod racing scene was very cool, so I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I actually think 3.5 is a really solid score for this. I loved the practical usage of sets and locations. Great. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. CGI might have looked good in 1999. Really doesn't hold up at all anymore. And, it's hard to look back and, like, say, well, was it good for the time? Was it, what bad for the time? I can only judge it based on how I see it now, and it wasn't very good. Especially Jar Jar. He looked like a character out of a video game most of the movie. But everything else, all the practical stuff definitely raises it up. I'd say 3.5 is a good good score.
I actually gave this a 4 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed the visuals, and it doesn't bother me that I know understand like Jar Jar is crappy and stuff like that, whatever. But I just like the wide landscape shots. So like Tatooine, the Naboo plains, the Gungan fight, Coruscant, and like just the whole like Naboo Theed Palace as well. I just like that like Renaissance feel, stuff like that.
Yep.
It was kind of like, I think my brother and I talked about this like several, like when we were younger, but like, where would you live? Like, what planet would you want to live on in Star Wars? And I think both of our answers would have been like Naboo or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, I just, again, the choreography and everything like that is great. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
Cool. All right, and the last, or not last, we got writing next. And this is bad, guys. It is
It's
bad.
not great, yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I mean,
A couple scenes are great.
yeah, but it's well known that George Lucas can't write dialogue to save his life, and it's pretty evident here because the characters talk like they are robots. And as such, the score will reflect that. I gotta go like a 1.
I'm right
On
there
the
with
writing.
you with a 1.
I mean, it not only does it make the line delivery bad, but also the writing drags down the story. It makes things slow. And where like I mentioned the story concept I loved, I think it's due to the writing that like Tatooine and Coruscant, those sections of the movie really slow way down, and it's because of how the movie's written.
I gave it a 2. I think I agree with most of that, but I think the beginning third and the last third had pretty decent writing. Not decent, but it's hard to it's hard because there's like
it's average writing.
It's like
Better than expected.
there are certain scenes that are really good, but like other scenes that just like cancel them out, kind of thing.
Those scenes are bookended by trash.
Yeah,
Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the first 20 minutes are good, and like the last, I don't remember a
hour.
time frame, but
35 minutes probably.
Problem is, there's a whole hour in between
yeah.
with one break, the pod racing scene, where it's like, oh, cool, I can breathe again.
All right, and lastly, enjoyment. This is going to be our final ranking of the film, our overall score. This brings back memories for me. I love it. I like it a lot more than some people. I gave it. Let's see, what did I give it? Yeah, all right. There's issues. We talked about it. There's issues, but everything the good outweighs the bad for the most part, in my opinion. Not by a lot, but it does. And so my score is a 3 out of 5.
Connor, you can go.
Me? No, you
Connor?
go. 'Cause
Yeah, go
I kept mine a secret from you guys.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
So I like you, Aaron. Like, I just brought back so many memories. I used to watch this movie all the time when I was younger. I thought it was like not the greatest, but like, I think being a younger kid, you tend to like the prequels a little bit better than the original trilogy, I think.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but like obviously growing older and stuff like that. But I find this movie rewatchable, which plays into the factor. Like, I can watch this movie, next month, and I wouldn't have a problem with it, kind of thing. So my score is a 3.5 out of 5.
All right.
Yeah. I'll rip the Band-Aid off. I gave this a 1.5.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, I
hurts.
did not grow up with Star Wars. It does not have nearly the placehold in my heart that you guys have. And especially trying to just think about this movie as itself, not like where it ranks in like the entire universe, this is not a movie that I want to. I'm just gonna put on just to watch. The writing is that bad for me. The pacing is that bad for me. I'll listen to the Duel of Fates whenever, but that's like the only redeeming thing from this movie for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, with that brings our average score to a 2.67. The tomato meter score, critic score was a 52%, and the audience score was a 59%, which is a difference of 7 if you're doing the math. And that actually puts us pretty much right dead on with both the critics and the audience for our average score, just above 50%. So that score, 2.67, puts this squarely at 14th in the movies that we've reviewed, just above Kung Fu Panda 4, which was a 2.5, and just below National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which was a 2.83. But yeah, I think that's going to just about wrap it up for this episode of the Filmbox Podcast. If you like what you listen to, leave a rating, subscribe, follow us on your favorite podcast platform, do all that fun stuff. Follow us on Twitter at the Filmbox Pod. You can visit our website at pressplaymag.com for reviews and all that kind of stuff. And you can follow our Letterboxd accounts, where they're all linked in the description. We all have them. You can see what we're watching. You can see what plane movies Sam watches and that I watch whenever we're on flights. And before we end it, Connor, we gotta do your movies for this week. Did you even watch the movies that you were supposed to from the week prior?
Yeah, I knocked out Doctor Strange,
that's
Love, and A Streetcar Named Desire. Now I have to do Before Sunrise and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yes.
I got another 6. Where we at?
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 3.
Okay. I shall be watching Fallen Angels and Close.
Okay, I feel disappointed by those.
Was Lord of the Rings on the list?
No.
Damn.
Okay. Damn. I was trying to gauge by your reaction, like whether or not we hit it or not, and it wasn't even there.
So the other options were Paris, Texas, The Elephant Man, Do the Right Thing, and Paths of Glory.
All right. Alrighty. Well, with that said, we will see you on the next episode of the Filmbox Podcast.
Be safe driving your Liam Neesons.